All right, what's going on, guys? Boy TG, welcome back to another video. So in this video, we are going to be giving you guys my top 5 takeaways and moments from the 2024-25 NHL season. Before we go ahead and get started, just want to give a congratulations to the Florida Panthers on repeating as Stanley Cup champions, getting it done for the second straight year over the Edmonton Oilers with a 5-1 win on Tuesday, June 17th. To win their back-to-back Stanley Cups, something that a few teams have been able to do. And the Florida Panthers become the first team to do it since the Tampa Bay Lightning did it in 2020 and 2021, the in-state division and arch rivals. So what a run it is for the Florida Panthers. The state of Florida, hockey is certainly growing in the state of Florida, and I'm here for it. So just, again, giving the congratulations to the Florida Panthers on repeating as Stanley Cup champions. Now, for those who have watched my videos on the TG Hockey channel, and for those who have listened to my Hockey Talk with TG podcast, you would know that I had the Edmonton Oilers win the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, they failed to pull it off, which this is year 32 that a Canadian team has not won the Stanley Cup. And as an American, would have loved to see that, and I would have loved to see Conn McDavid hoist the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, he will have to wait another time to do that. So I feel bad for him. And Oilers had a good run. They had a good run to the Stanley Cup final. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it done in the Stanley Cup final for various reasons. And I touched on those reasons on the Hockey Talk with TG podcast, on my recent episode of Hockey Talk TG podcast, where I talked about Game 6, Stanley Cup final, and the Panthers back-to-back Stanley Cup championship win. I did some in-depth analysis on that, on why the Oilers couldn't pull it off, what were some factors of why they lost, stuff like that. Make sure to go listen to that episode if you have not already. And if you guys haven't been noticing, I have been reposting my episodes of Hockey Talk TG podcast on the community tab on the TG Hockey channel, just in case you missed them or haven't seen them. Just make sure that haven't seen them, make sure to go watch them. I have been doing that throughout this 2024-25 season. I have been posting consistently on the TG Hockey channel because I've been doing my Hockey Talk with TG podcast. But I will try and give you guys some content on the TG Hockey channel during this off season, so stay tuned for that. But I'm still going to be posting a lot more on my Hockey Talk with TG podcast, so make sure to follow me on there: Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. And again, congratulations to the Florida Panthers on repeating as Stanley Cup champions. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started into the video. So just a couple announcements. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the TG Hockey channel. Make sure to follow the Hockey Talk with TG podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Podcast comes out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So you want to make sure that you are following the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Again, I have been reposting my episodes throughout the Stanley Cup final on the TG Hockey channel. I don't know if some of you noticed that or not, but I have been doing it. Just in case you haven't seen it, you missed it. Make sure to go watch them back and follow the Hockey Talk with TG podcast on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Or if you're an audio listener like myself, make sure to follow Hockey Talk with TG podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. And another thing is that I now have my own merch store out right now. I don't know if you guys saw at the beginning the hat that I was wearing. It is my own TG Hockey hat. It is on the merch store, on the TG Hockey merch store. I have all different kinds of merch, from hats, from hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, all different kinds of accessories, all different kinds of merch for you guys to get. From kids merch to men to women, all that stuff is out on the TG Hockey store. So make sure to get your merch today. And if you do get your merch, tag me on social media. I will repost them to my story. Tag me on Instagram at Ty the Hockey Boy. Tag me on Twitter at Ty_Glenn_hockey on Twitter. In my TikTok, TyGlenn678. In my Instagram, at Ty the Hockey Boy. If you bought the merch and if you're wearing the merch, make sure to tag me and I will share them to my story. I will post them on my story if you tag me on social media. So again, Instagram at Ty the Hockey Boy, Twitter at Ty_Glenn_hockey, and on TikTok, TyGlenn678. If you get your own merch, and if you tag me, I will repost them to my story and you will be featured on there. So make sure to get your merch today. It is out on the TG Hockey Store. I will put the link in the description. I will also pin it to the comments so you guys can click on the website and get your own merch today. So yeah, but without further ado, I will say this again at the end of this video as well. Just in case you guys might have, forgot. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So number one, I have the Hockey World remembering Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. So these two brothers, sadly and unfortunately, passed away from a car accident due to being hit by a drunk driver. Just a reminder, if you are out partying, drinking, please do not get behind the wheel. You can cost somebody their life, and that's what the idiotic drunk driver did to Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. He was drinking behind the wheel, and he hit Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau while they were riding their bikes. So this was an emotional season because everybody was remembering Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau, what they meant to the game of hockey. Most notably, an emotional season for the Columbus Blue Jackets and Calgary Flames because those were the two teams that Johnny Hockey played for. So it was really emotional for them. And also an emotional season for Sean Monahan because he was Johnny Gaudreau's best friend. They played with each other in Calgary, and they also played with each other in Columbus. So he was really emotional. He actually took home the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy this year. He was surprised by Johnny Gaudreau's wife, Meredith Gaudreau, when he received the award. And this was a touching, emotional. They have a video of this on the NHL.com website, and I believe it's on the YouTube channel. And when you watch that video, it was very emotional. A great tribute, but it was also emotional at the same time. When Meredith surprised him with the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy. So this was an emotional season for him. This was an emotional season for the Columbus Blue Jackets. This was an emotional season for the Calgary Flames. And the Blue Jackets honored them in their home opener against the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. And the Blue Jackets actually made a banner of Johnny Gaudreau. His number 13 raises up in the banner in Columbus at Nationwide Arena. So they had a banner of him, honor him with the banner. And then there was another, and then the Flames and Blue Jackets, when these two teams played each other. And I did say before their first game of the season that it was going to be an emotional game between these two teams because, again, Johnny Hockey played for the Flames and Blue Jackets. So I said on the Hockey Talk with TG podcast at some point in the regular season that this was going to be very emotional when these two teams face off against each other in the 2024-25 regular season. And you had Johnny Gaudreau's family come out in Calgary, in Columbus for the puck drop to start the game. Again, just the emotional setting and time that was. And the Blue Jackets also honored them at the 2025 NHL Stadium Series when the Blue Jackets were taking on the Detroit Red Wings. They honored the Gaudreau brothers there. And Team USA honored them during their international play at the World Juniors Four Nations World Championship. They had a Johnny Gaudreau USA number 13 jersey in their locker rooms, just never forgotten. Always remember Johnny Hockey and what he did for Team USA, what he did for the game of hockey. So Team USA had a number 13 USA jersey in the locker room during every game of the World Juniors, the Four Nations, and the IIHF World Championship. So I have to put this at number one, and the Gaudreau brothers will be missed, and they will never be forgotten. Number two, Alex Ovechkin breaks Wayne Gretzky's goal record. So Alex Ovechkin broke Wayne Gretzky's goal record on April 6, 2025. Scored goal number 895 on the power play from his sweet spot. Capitals ended up losing this game, but the loss didn't matter. This is the big moment. Alex Ovechkin breaking Wayne Gretzky's goal record, becoming the all-time leader in playoff. Not playoff. Become the all-time leader in goals. Is Alex Ovechkin first. The great one, Wayne Gretzky second. Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe third. Jaromir Jagr fourth. Brett Hull fifth. So Alex Ovechkin sits at the top of the mountain, breaking the NHL goal scoring record. I remember where I was and what I was doing that day. So I was watching the game. This was an afternoon game. I was watching the game. I was eating tacos. And I saw Alex Ovechkin breaking the goal record, and I just had a shocking reaction. And I was really excited and ecstatic that he broke the record. He got goal number 895. I actually did do a reaction video on TikTok. I will put that link in the description so you guys can see it. It's a great reaction video I just made on TikTok of we breaking the goal record. And I made another TikTok video. I used the sound of the call of Kenny Albert, who's now going to be play-by-play commentator in New York Rangers for next season. I used the goal call, and I just did the celebration that Alex Ovechkin did. So let me get my laser pointer. I did this celebration out on the ice because, if you guys don't know, I play hockey. I don't know if you guys seen some of my roller hockey and ice hockey videos on TikTok, but I do play hockey. I was always a right winger when I played, and I just play recreational now. Don't really play on a team. Just play recreational, but when I was on the team, I was right wing. But now I just play recreational with my buddies and friends. Get together for a little exhibition game. But this was during practice, so sometimes I record videos of me practicing, and I just recorded a video of me doing the Alex Ovechkin celebration when he broke the goal record. And in case you guys can see this, I did put a prediction that Alex Ovechkin will finish his career with 920 goals. He currently has 895 right now. He's going to get 900 in the 2025-26 season. Oh, wait, no, he doesn't have 895. Well, he does, but what I meant to say was that he currently has 897, 898 goals in his career now, but he's going to get 900 next season, and I think he's going to finish this season or his career with 920 goals. And another moment from this season, the Panthers repeat as Stanley Cup champions. So like I said in the intro, just congratulate the Florida Panthers on winning their second consecutive Stanley Cup. They defeated the Edmonton Oilers 5-1 on Tuesday, June 17, 2025 to win their second straight Stanley Cup. And it's the second straight year the Panthers defeated the Oilers in the Stanley Cup final. And as I said multiple times on the Hockey Talk with TG podcast, that the Oilers will not recover from this loss. There's no coming back from this loss. There's no saying we will be here next season. No guaranteed we will be here next season. Because as I said on the Hockey Talk with TG podcast before, that we probably won't see the Oilers in the Stanley Cup final next year. We'll see them in the Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll see them in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but we won't see them in the Stanley Cup in the Stanley Cup final, excuse me. I keep stuttering my words. We'll see them in the Stanley Cup playoffs. We won't see them in the Stanley Cup final. I don't think they have the team enough to make the Stanley Cup final for the third straight year. But this is the first time that there has been a back-to-back Stanley Cup champion since, again, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Panthers, in-state division arch rivals, did it in 2020 and 2021. This is also the third team in the salary cap era that repeated as Stanley Cup champions. Obviously, the Panthers being the third most recent one, 2024, 2025. Lightning did it in 2020, 2021. Penguins did it in 2016 and 2017. 4-goal game from Sam Reinhart, and he becomes the first player since Mark Stone to record a hat trick in a cup clinching game. Of course, Mark Stone did it in the 2023 Stanley Cup final, Game 5, against the Florida Panthers. So, ironically, Sam Reinhart does it for the Florida Panthers, and he has a 4-goal game in this one. I thought he would have had the game winner for the second straight year, because last year when the Panthers played the Oilers, he had the game winning goal, but because of poking in, scoring to make it 5-1. I did predict Sergei Bobrovsky will have a shutout. I was this close to being right. But if it weren't for Podkolzin scoring that goal, either Sam Reinhart's first goal or second goal would have been the game winner. But they awarded the game-winning goal to Matthew Gaudreau. Of course, he scored the first goal of the game. Sam Bennett took home the Conn Smythe Trophy for playoff MVP. I really thought it would have been Brad Marchand to win. Sam Bennett was the odds-on favorite to win the Conn Smythe Trophy, though, but I believe it should have gone to Brad Marchand, considering the performance that he had in the Stanley Cup playoffs and in the Stanley Cup final. I really think it should have gone to him, and how he just fits so seamlessly into this Florida Panthers group since coming over the trade deadline. So I felt like he was robbed of that. Number 4, the 2025 NHL Four Nations Faceoff. So this featured Team USA, Team Canada, Team Sweden, and Team Finland. All of them participating in the Four Nations Faceoff. And the Four Nations took place in Boston and Montreal. Canada beat USA 3-2 in overtime in the championship to win the inaugural Four Nations. Connor McDavid with the overtime game-winning goal. So at least he wins the Four Nations. Would have loved to see him win the Stanley Cup, though. And the Four Nations was the biggest event for sports in 2025, in my opinion. Biggest events in sports 2025. It drew a lot of interest, including the non-hockey fans watching it. You even had Stephen A. Smith on First Take talking about this. Of course, PK Subban was on the show. And the only time I see Stephen A. Smith and Molly talk about hockey on First Take is when they have either PK Subban or the commissioner Gary Bettman on the show. That's the only time I see Stephen A. Smith and Molly talking about hockey. Of course, Stephen A. Smith doesn't know nothing about hockey, and I don't know if that Molly, I don't know if she knows anything about hockey, but Stephen A. Smith obviously doesn't know nothing about hockey, but it's kind of funny and great at the same time that Stephen A. Smith gets to talk about hockey. Again, funny because doesn't know what he's saying, and then great because obviously, even though you want to try and encourage some of the non-hockey fans to, talk hockey with you, like for instance, like I love hockey so much, and I have a few friends who don't like hockey, and I sometimes try and talk about it with them. So it's always great to, just to have a little conversation about hockey to your non-hockey friends or family or nobody, or if you have friends, family, they don't know about hockey, at least try to talk about it or something. Just let them be encouraged just for that one bit. And that's what I like seeing from Stephen A. Smith when he talks about hockey with PK Subban and the commissioner, Gary Bettman. I think one time Mark Messier was on First Take talking about hockey, but most of the time it's PK Subban and the commissioner, Gary Bettman. But it's had a lot of interest in it. This was the biggest event in sports. And I also said that with the Olympics and the World Cup of Hockey coming up in the next few years, hockey will take over in the sports world. And this event for the Four Nations was certainly better than the All-Star game. If I'm speaking for all hockey fans, the Four Nations was definitely better for the All-Star game. If I'm speaking for myself, I don't really care whether they have an Olympics or All-Star game. I don't really care. But if I'm speaking for all hockey fans, this event was way better than the All-Star game. I don't want to see the NHL, again, speaking for all hockey fans, don't really want to see the NHL go back to an All-Star game, keep the Olympics going, keep the World Cup of Hockey going. If you have another Four Nations, keep that going as well. Love to see Olympics and international play better from the best players from each country than just seeing the All-Star game. So, yeah, just speak for all hockey fans right there. Hopefully they keep this going. They will keep it going the next few years, and hopefully the next few years after that, they'll keep this going as well. So this is really a good event that the NHL put on. USA, Canada, Sweden, Finland. I wish Team Russia was participating in the Olympics for next year because they would have been a stacked team for sure. From Alex Alvetkin, Kirill Kaprizov, Matvey Michkov, Nikita Kucherov, and Genny Malkin, Andrei Vasilevsky, Sergei Bobrovsky. That will be a stacked Russian team for the Olympics, but unfortunately, they are not going to be. Team Russia is not going to be participating in the Olympics next year, unfortunately. But it should be a great Olympics nonetheless. And the last, well, actually, not the last part. Next part got Utah Hockey Club, who are now Utah Mammoth. I think they had a solid, great first season despite missing out on the playoffs. They finished their inaugural season with a 38, 31, and 13 record with 89 points, sixth in the Central Division. They were 7 points out of a playoff spot. Clayton Keller led the Mammoth with 30 goals, 60 assists, and 90 points. He did it all in 81 games played. And, of course, their first game in franchise history was against my Chicago Blackhawks. Wish we could have won that one against them, but those fans in Utah really bring the energy. At first, I wasn't expecting it because hockey in Utah, when I first heard the Coyotes were going to be relocating from Arizona to Utah, I didn't think hockey in Utah would be well. I didn't think it would go well, but these fans certainly bring it every game. It is certainly an electrifying arena to play in. The Delta Center certainly proved me wrong, and hopefully they have a great sophomore season, if you will, in the NHL for next year. And then just a bonus one, just to throw this one in there, Connor Hellebuck MVP season. This was a great season from Connor Hellebuck. He won the Hart Memorial Trophy, and he won the Vezina Trophy. First goaltender since Carey Price did it in 2014-15 to take on the Hart and Vezina Trophy. He also joins Dominic Hasek, Jose Theodore, Carey Price, and Jacques Plante as the only goalies to win both the Hart and Vezina Trophy in the same year. He became the fourth goaltender in the NHL's expansion era since 1967-68 to win the Hart Memorial Trophy. And Connor Hellebuck finished the regular season with a 47-12-3 record, 2.00 goals against average, and a .925 save percentage, 8 shutouts, leading the league in wins, shutouts, and goals against average. The Jets won the President's Trophy this year, finishing the season with a 56-22-4 record with 116 points, and that was all because of Connor Hellebuck. However, his playoff stats say otherwise. He finished the playoffs with a 6-7 record, 3.08 goals against average, and a .866 save percentage. And the Jets were eliminated by the Dallas Stars in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So his MVP season, all his accolades and stuff he did for this season, they didn't show up in the Stanley Cup playoffs when needed to the most. And it would have been nice to see an all-Canadian Western Conference final. As an American, it would have been great to see an all-Canadian Western Conference final with the Winnipeg Jets taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Obviously, not being the case. And just some honorable mentions from this season. Got the NHL Global Series in Prague between the Devils and Sabres on October 4th and 5th. And then the other Global Series in Tampere, Finland between the Stars and Panthers on November 1st and 2nd. And then the Mikko Rantanen Game 7 performance against the Colorado Avalanche's former team. And then the Winnipeg Jets miracle Game 7 overtime win over the St. Louis Blues. And then the Conor Bedard versus Macklin Celebrini first matchup, the start of a potential new rivalry. And then Brad Marchand's playoff run with the Panthers finished with 20 points and 23 games played. Should have won a Conn Smythe trophy right there, considering his playoff performance, but unfortunately not the case. And another honorable mention, this could be potentially Marc-Andre Fleury's last season in the NHL. Finished the 2024-25 regular season with a 14-9-1 record with a 2.93 goals against average and a .899 save percentage and one shutout. 0-1 in the playoffs with a 2.49 goals against average and a .857 save percentage. And in his career, he had a .575, .339, and .95 record with a 2.60 goals against average and a .912 save percentage. 76 shutouts with the Penguins, Golden Knights, Blackhawks, and Wild. He was 92-75 in the playoffs with a 2.56 goals against average and a .911 save percentage and 16 shutouts. Won the Stanley Cup 3 times with the Penguins in 2009, 2016, 2017. I will never forget that last second save that he made in 2009 against Detroit for the Penguins to win the Stanley Cup. Marc-Andre Fleury also took on the Vezina William M. Jennings Trophy in 2021, so he's had a great career, a lot of accolades for the Flower, and if this is his last NHL season, certainly was a great one despite the Wild being eliminated by the Golden Knights in the first round of playoffs. Certainly was a great career, certainly was a great final season. If this is his final season, he hasn't officially retired, but I think most people are thinking that this is the Flower's last season. And if this is his last season, best of luck on his retirement. Maybe he could get into broadcasting, be on the NHL and TNT panel with Biz, Anson Carter, Ace, Henrik Lundqvist, and Liam McHugh. Or he could go to ESPN with Steve Levy, Mark Messier, PK Subban, Kevin Weeks, Chris Pronger, and the rest of the ESPN NHL crew. So maybe broadcasting's in the books, but you don't know if this is going to be it for Flower in the NHL. But if this is, best of luck on his retirement. He's had a great career, and he is no doubt a Hockey Hall of Famer. He will be a Hockey Hall of Famer. That's going to do it for this video on the TG Hockey Channel. So as always, leave a comment down below. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe button. Make sure to follow Hockey Talk with TG Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. We are with you guys every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And just in case you guys forgot what I said, make sure to get your merch on the TG Hockey Store. I will put the link in the description. I will put the link in the comments. I will pin it to the comments. I will put it in the description. Make sure to get your merch today. If you get your merch, if you tag me on social media, I will put my social media links in the description as well. If you tag me on Instagram at Ty the Hockey Boy, I will repost it to my stories. You tag me on Twitter at Ty Glenn. Not Ty Glenn. Ty _Glenn _hockey. I will be posting on my Twitter page. If you tag me on TikTok at TyGlenn678, I will be posting on my TikTok story. I will put all my social media links in the description below so you guys can see it. Make sure to get your merch today from the TG Hockey Store. We got hats, we got hoodies, we got sweatshirts, we got t-shirts, we got all different kinds of accessories and merch. I will put the store link in the description below, and just to zoom it in, just to show you guys again, this is the store link right here. This will be in the description for you guys. So make sure to get your merch today. And make sure to hit this video with a like, hit it with the subscribe button. Stay tuned for Friday's episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I probably will be posted on the TG Hockey Channel community tab for you guys. And I'll see you guys next time.